Hi Tracy, I'm really happy to be doing this spread for you. Let's just get the cards shuffled. I've got my skylight open and it's a bit windy, so hopefully it won't all whoosh off the table. The weather's changing, it's been really hot and now it's going to be, I think we might have a little bit of a storm coming on the way. So I'm going to use Everyday Witch, which may not be a kind of obvious choice, I guess, for a love reading, but I've actually been getting some really good readings with this deck. I've been using it all month and a little bit of June as well. So it's been doing the job. So I thought it would be good. Okay, so I'll do them face down actually, and then we can talk them through as we go along. You might not be able to see them all. I've been trying to figure out a way to prop up my phone, which I'm recording on, to try and get it all in, but I'll lift them when it's time, you know, when I'm looking at those cards anyway. Okay, so there is our heart. So the first card is you at this present moment. That is brilliant. That is absolutely hilarious. Two of Cups, and as you can see from the card, it is a date. And like you already said that to me when you contacted me. You said that you were feeling like you were ready to start dating again, and that's what I mean about this deck. It is just literally like, it's so spot on. Really, really good. I love as well how it's like, it's very minimal and by the sea and the gorgeous sunrise. I know like often on your Instagram you'll share really gorgeous photos, and it's not like, even though they dress quite smartly, it's just, it feels very natural and very easy. And so I feel like this is saying that, you know, you are right, you're getting to that point where you are, it will feel natural and it will feel easy to date and to, you know, meet other people and start having those kind of meetings, because, you know, sometimes it can feel a bit awkward and weird, can't it? So I also love that they're both witches, and I think that's given me a clue that the person that you are going to be meeting it needs to be somebody who is on your wavelength, you know, who gets you on a spiritual level as well as, you know, on all the other levels. So yeah, brilliant. Okay, so past baggage to be unpacked. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Seven of Cups. So, you know, look, she is looking at all the different things. There are lots and lots of options, and funnily enough, her hand is reaching towards the heart, and she's got a ring on her finger there as well, look, but she doesn't look very happy. She looks a little bit upset. And I feel like what this card is saying for past baggage is that you reached for love, you chose love when all these other options were possibly available. You know, there was money, there was perhaps a fancy home or learning, or goodness knows, you know, you know, some kind of creativity and more earthy kind of growing things. You had lots and lots and lots of options, and this is the option that you chose, and that made you feel like you had to kind of almost exclude these other options. You really went in full in on that option, and it didn't work out exactly how you hoped that it would, how you wanted it to. And look how the lady behind the counter, she's like kind of sort of smiling, but she's not guiding this person at all. She is just like, she's seen it all before, and she knows that even if she had said that's not the right choice for you at this moment, perhaps you would not have listened. So I feel like this is you in the past in this card, and perhaps more now, there's more an element of this is you in the present, that you are wiser now and you are able to see that sometimes, you know, it's an illusion. The Seven of Cups is an illusion of choice, of having to make a choice, I feel like, in this case. So you don't have to choose now. You have access to all of these rounded things. All of the elements are part of you, and so even though you are ready to kind of look for a relationship, these other aspects of you are still, you know, they are ingrained now, and that the baggage to be unpacked basically is to not to blame yourself or feel bad for the fact that you chose that choice, and also to, going forward, keep those other things going even when you do enter into a relationship. I feel like, you know, there could be a slight danger of just focusing in on that and to the detriment of the other things. So keep your other things, keep your other options open as well, your other choices. Number 3 is, what are you attracting? I'm sorry, I find this deck so hilarious. So the Hanged Man, our first major in the reading, that is so interesting to me, in that it seems like what you're attracting at the moment is somebody who sees the world very differently from you. This Hanged Man is kind of trapped. Like often in the Hanged Man, there isn't necessarily something that binds them to the thing that they're hanging from, but this Hanged Man does look bound and with his eyes closed. And I feel like perhaps what it's saying is that you want somebody who is like on the same level as you, who is like spiritually awakened and wanting to connect in that spiritual way, but you also don't want to, you might be a little bit too structured about that, too rigid about that. And also, I feel like it's kind of saying that at the moment you might be attracting somebody who seems like they're kind of spiritual and connected and kind of quirky and unusual. You might even have somebody in mind that you have met perhaps who is like that. But look how kind of cut off from everything that's going on this person seems. They're totally like absorbed in themselves, and I feel like perhaps you're attracting somebody who is not necessarily going to be, or you're maybe even attracted to somebody who is not going to be interested in the way that you want. You know, look at the difference in demeanor between this person. There's like a magpie trying to get in. I'm going to shut that a little bit just in case. Let's look at the difference in demeanor. You know, this person looks very relaxed, very open, and very connected with the person that he is with, and this person looks closed off. They're totally self-absorbed. And so just be aware that even though that might feel safer to go for somebody who is very absorbed in themselves and very kind of self-contained, that's not going to give you the interplay, the kind of, you know, the relationship. It's not really a relationship then with the person when they don't actually, when there's not that give and take, if you see what I mean. So number 4, a challenge, something to look out for. The King of Wands. That's interesting in that position, isn't it? King of Wands. So we've got this king, and it looks like he's kind of explaining his plan to the cat, which is lovely. Very fiery, very kind of regal king, you know, in his armor and everything. He looks quite kind. But again, I feel like this is connecting him with this Hanged Man, in that it's almost like he is somebody who is explaining to his not quite as advanced audience. Sorry, the dog's barking. I think maybe my family are arriving home in a minute. I hope you can still hear me fine. It's as what I think that is something to look out for. A challenge is to make sure that you are on the same level as the person that you are. You know, this is what we want. This is the goal here, and this looks like an unequal kind of thing. So even though he's the King of Wands and he's really fiery and really exciting and really passionate, you don't want him to feel like you are not those things. Or conversely, perhaps you were the King of Wands and you don't want to attract somebody who is like looking up to you to lead everything either. You know, it needs to be something that is more equal. That's what I feel like. I feel like it's something that is more, like I say, more give and take, more equal. So, you know, not somebody who is going to want you to lead the whole show and take all, you know, do everything and have all the ideas of what you're going to do and your dates and everything, but also not somebody who's like completely shut off and not really coming out of themselves at all for you, not kind of reaching out to you in any way. So I think what like both those cards together are kind of adding up to, if you just are yourself and you have a genuine connection with somebody, then you won't need to like overdo anything, and you also won't need to like underdo anything, if you see what I mean. And then a blessing, something to be open to. And we've got another 2. How interesting. We've got the 2 of Wands. I love this 2 of Wands. You know, 2 of Wands is like a kind of adventure card. And look how this person is holding the earth in their hand, and like it does look like they're kind of crystal gazing into it as well. But I feel like this 2 of Wands is saying that you may need to be open to relocating, to move. And I know you literally have just moved, I think, haven't you? But perhaps somewhere a little bit more further afield as well. Or perhaps if it's not like a physical move, it might be a big kind of mind shift mood. But you know what, it feels to me like it feels like a physical move. Or some kind of adventure. It might not be like a permanent move, but perhaps like some kind of traveling with the person. And so perhaps be open to that could be an opportunity that comes up to travel with a person, because like when you travel with a person, you really get to know them, good stuff and bad stuff. So that's always good. And like obviously keep your wand handy. I love as well that there's 2 cats on this card as well. Like there's 2 cats on this one, and yeah, that's that to me, you know, it feels like it's linking in with that too, with that there. So almost like you can go on the adventure, and then this is going to be what happens. And then number 6, who or what is right for you. So we've looked at kind of what maybe isn't right, the Hanged Man and the King of Wands. And oh, look at that, so beautiful. 10 of Pentacles. What or who is right for you? And I love this. Like this is like the happy family card, isn't it? You know, we've got the older couple together and there are little children, and like whenever I see this card, it's like it's not super clear. Like I feel like this child might be a grandchild rather than a child of this couple, and perhaps these are the children of the couple. And so I feel like what it's saying is that the person who you will be connected with will definitely have an appreciation of family, and will likely have their own family as well. And that will be something that both of you will love your family very, very much. And that is what will be something that brings you together, because you can understand that whole, you know, that going in full heart and giving everything for your family, you know, for doing it. And that will join you together, your kind of mutual love and respect for family. Yeah, that's really lovely. I love the dog in there as well. It's like a beautifully balanced and rich and fruitful, you know. And like they're growing old together, this couple. This is till death do us part, you know. This is the completion of the cycle. So the person, when you do find that right person, it is going to be somebody who you will grow old with, and your families will become blended together, and you will be able to enjoy that. And that's so lovely. That's so lovely. Yeah, look how they're just together in that seat, and also out in nature, the same as this. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so when are you going to meet this person? Oh dear. We've got Justice, and look how she's trying to peep out. So we've got like these two majors underneath each other on this side of the heart. So it's a slightly imbalanced heart at the moment. And you know, sometimes you can go just literally from the numbers. So you can take 11, you can take 11 to mean November. You can take 11 to be like 11 months or 11 weeks or even 11 days from now. But you know, that's not super accurate sometimes. Although, you know, Justice is also connected with Libra, and that is, well, it's September, isn't it? The equinox. But getting towards the autumn, I feel like it's linked to the equinox. So yeah, perhaps September. Perhaps we're talking pretty soon here. But be aware that it might not be the first, you know, this scale again, you know, we've got balance, we've got hanging here, we've got this kind of imbalanced relationship, and then here we've got this balanced relationship. I feel like don't try to rush it with the wrong person. You may well have to, you know, it's likely that you're going to have to obviously meet quite a few people perhaps before. You might not, but don't. I love that she's peeping. It's like, I want to know now, and I feel like it's saying you can't know now. I don't know what is going on with the dog. I'm so sorry about him barking in the background. I'll go down and see what it's all about now once this reading is completed. So yeah, and they look like little kittens as well, don't they? Almost like kind of squabbling. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a little bit less clear. Perhaps we can come back to that in the end. And then the outcome, state of heart. 2 of Swords. Okay, so look, we've had 3 2s in this reading. Let me hold that up for you to see it. And this card, again, is similar in that there's a blindfold going on. There's a blindfold here. And she's having to throw those swords at the target without being able to see. But what she is doing is hitting the target, even though she can't see. And I feel like what it's saying is that it is going to feel scary. You're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. You're going to feel like perhaps you can't do it. You can't like take that risk, that it's dangerous. You know, like throwing swords at a target with a blindfold on is pretty dangerous. But, you know, we know from here that it is time and that you are ready. And so you are going to have to try and just have faith. Take that leap of faith. Because, you know, even when you chose when you knew what your options were and you chose, it didn't work out. So sometimes taking a kind of stab in the dark is actually just as valid, especially when it's things to do with relationships and stuff, because you can't really know somebody until you've kind of given them a chance. And perhaps that's where this 2 links into it as well. It's like perhaps there is going to be this opportunity to travel with somebody, and that's going to give you a chance to really get to know them. Yeah, 3 2s to come out in that reading is very interesting to me. And then, you know, with the Hanged Man and Justice right here on the side, we've got 2s and majors here, and then we've got, you know, the 7, the 10. I love that 10. That 10 is so beautiful, with the being the who is right for you. But this is kind of like the happy ever after. This is how it is going to... You need to look out for somebody who is going to be that. But, you know, you're not going to know if they're that until you give them a chance and you kind of listen to what they've got to say. And it might be that their ideas and things aren't quite the same as yours. And that's fine, you know. But just don't let them be closed off and... aloof, even though that might feel safer because it is less of a risk to your heart to be in a relationship with somebody like that. And also don't be the person who's like doing all the work and kind of doing all the planning and arranging and everything in the relationship, because that is not going to ultimately be satisfying for you either. That's not ultimately going to lead you to where you want to go. But you are going to have to take a punt. You are going to have to be brave. And even though you feel like you can't see, you know, I've just had a thought as well, you know, the blindfold, it could, if this could be a blind date. We could be talking a blind date here. And, you know, with the Justice card as well, blindfolded, and then the 2 following it, it could be you need to go on a couple of blind dates. And one of them might be shit, and then one of them might be wonderful. So be open to that possibility, to the possibility that you aren't going to necessarily have seen the person or know the person beforehand. Yeah, I feel like that's what it's saying. It is going to be some kind of blind date. So I hope that is helpful, and I'm sorry that the timing is not perfect. I feel like it's equinox. I do feel like it's equinox, with that being the balance, and with Libra, they're associated with the card. So yeah, I think that is a good, and that might be when you first start looking, I guess, rather than, you know, this is the longer term happily ever after at the very end kind of thing. So yeah, I hope that was good and helpful, and that you could see all the cards. I'm trying to kind of squash them all in so you can see them all. I will take a photograph as well. I'll do that now so I can send that to you, and I will send you this reading straight away. Speak to you soon, Tracy.